Hello and welcome to Frontier Community Access Television. I'm Mason Smith here tonight with Tyler Wolkowitz, Kevin Murphy, Cole Melnick, and Connor Mabius. We are at Greenfield High School here in Western Massachusetts for Frontier's third football game of the season. They're playing against a co-op team in Greenfield. We got players from Mohawk, from Pioneer, and from Turner's Falls who are playing on this team right now, Tyler. And it's been a rough start to the year for them. Both of these teams right now are 0-2 coming into this game, and they are looking for their first win. It's going to be an interesting game for sure. Neither team necessarily one of the best that we've seen, but they're going to be playing with a lot of passion to try and find that first win. And we also had some big news come out of the MIAA earlier today. The division rankings came out. The power rankings began, and they will last until the end of the regular season, when we will determine who qualifies for Western Mass and for states. Now, Frontier, they because they've had a harder schedule, they played against Lunenburg first. That's a division above them. And they played against Franklin Tech, who's known to be one of the better, especially larger teams in the area. Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of kids even go there just for the football. And so playing against those two tough teams, despite having an 0-2 record, they're ranked 21 out of 48 in the division, which they're part of Division 8. Because there's some of the smaller schools in the area. And now Greenfield, they also have an 0-2 record, but they've played against what are considered to be easier teams, not like the tough teams that Frontier has played against so far this year. So their ranking is 47 out of 48. So especially rough start on the divisional level for Greenfield. But they have the same record. You could argue a lot of the same attributes in a lot of ways, but an interesting aspect is the quarterback situation for Greenfield, Tyler.
Right, Mason, yeah.
They have two quarterbacks that will be alternating, is our understanding. The starter seems to be number 7, I believe it is. Yes, number 7, Caleb Murray. He is one of the captains as well for the Green Wave. And the other quarterback that we will likely be seeing a little bit of during this game is Mason Cummings, who is number 10 and is actually not from Greenfield. He's from Pioneer up in Northfield, which is actually where I'm from.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Mason. Like their captains as well. They have 3 captains on the team, and only one of them is from Greenfield, the school they hold.
Yeah, Jonathan Brewer, and we talked about him, last year when we covered the Frontier against Greenfield boys basketball games. And now here comes the Green Wave coming to their stadium. And it's worth mentioning, Tyler, these two teams are a little more evenly matched in terms of size than Frontier's previous game against Franklin Tech, which had over 50 kids on their roster. This is roughly around the same size, although maybe I think a few kids more on Greenfield's roster, but we can credit that to the co-op, I think.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's bound to be a close game regardless of, I don't know. Do you think that we're going to have a high-scoring game, a low-scoring game? Is it going to be owned by the defense or the offense, Tyler?
Right. Well, Mason, I think that this is certainly going to be a close game either way. I don't think this can be a blowout either way. Yes, Greenfield's power ranking is much lower. However, both of these teams have not been able to secure a win, so it's really interesting to see what's going to happen here.
We weren't able to see any of the scores for Greenfield's games. We didn't get a chance to check those out, but we do know Frontier has only been able to score 1 touchdown so far in this season. They face some spectacular defenses so far, and now the captain's meeting in the middle, and the third captain from your right, number 77, his arm is in a sling. That's Javian Cabrera. He's one of the captains of the team. He had, for those of you who have been watching this team so far this season, you know what happened to him. He had a dislocated shoulder, right shoulder, on his first offensive drive of the season, and we've gotten an update from him this week. He was very upset about it. He has to have surgery on that shoulder. There was tissue damage, I think he told me, and especially in the way that it was brought back into his socket, I think he said. But
rough stuff.
unfortunately that means he will be out for the rest of this season, and he is also on our wrestling team. He will not be able to participate on the wrestling team this year. So a really tough situation for a senior who's had a spectacular high school career so far, Tyler.
Absolutely, Mason. Yeah, Javian is really a heart and soul of many of these this team in general, and really a great captain to many of the people on the team. But nevertheless, the Frontier Red Hots have been having a very strong defensive performance thus far.
Yeah, despite the big loss on the line with Javian. And the other player that is out for the season right now is number 6, Levi Pickert. He has a broken collarbone, as we mentioned in the games prior. And it seems as though Jacob Rice, number 84, still is not qualifying to play for tonight's game. You can see him on the sideline on the far left of your screen. Now, the coin toss has been completed, and we'll go down to the field for the national anthem. Hello and welcome back to Frontier Community Access Television. We are coming into the first half. In just a few moments, there will be a kickoff as Greenfield will take the field. Frontier taking a huddle on their sidelines before they take the field. As we were saying, we're expecting it to be a very close game. Both these teams seem relatively evenly matched given their record, which is identical. And it seems as though Frontier will be deferring. They will kick off in this first half and receive the opening kickoff for the second half. Seems to be a strategy that they've stuck to thus far in the season. And some big news for the Hawks. Number 71 out there on the field is Jack Phillips, now recovered from a pretty bad concussion he had in practice. So this is his first game with Frontier for this year. He will deliver the opening kick from the 40-yard line. And it will be a ground ball of a kick scooped up. And Jack Phillips chases him down first, and he will be brought down at the 40-yard line.
That was a surprising kick to see from Jack. He has a late. He could have easily launched that up and over past him, but they seem to be favoring that bouncy ball right through the center. And
yes, I think that is part of their strategy for trying to, kick the ball off first. Maybe they can get a bad bounce. It'll be a bit of a shorter kick, and they'll be able to, punch a fumble out or find a way to turn the ball over and get some good field position to start the game off.
Absolutely, Mason.
But now they end up on defense. Receiver on either side of that is Caleb Murray, as we suspected starting off. Murray with the handoff. Finds a gap on the near side and is brought down.
Boom.
That is number 84, Angel Politis. Politis is a fullback as only a sophomore, that seems to be a position that is reserved for the upperclassmen, specifically seniors.
Yeah, Mason. I mean, you see, Jaden James is really being able to hold that position. But I'm really looking at the O-line right here. Greenfield has some pretty big players that are certainly rivaling the Frontier great O-line. D-line.
Yeah, they're going to give them a bit of a run for their money, and they've got a 2nd and short coming up. 2nd and 3 is what the scoreboard tells us, and a big stop right on the line of scrimmage. That was Colin West getting the tackle.
If somebody can help me out.
And that was number 38 on the carry. That's Jared Golston. He's one of the other captains for Green Wave. He is also from Pioneer. So there you go, another captain that isn't from Greenfield, actually. And plenty of fans still coming into the stadium here, Tyler.
Yeah, this is a fantastically big stadium. There's still so many people.
Off the shotgun position. Spin move from Politis, and he picks up the first down. That was a great move by Politis and some good distraction. I like that play call a lot, Tyler. We had 2 receivers out on either side drawing the DBs out from the center where Politis wanted to go. I think that's a great play call.
Always, yeah. I mean, also a thing that I remember from last year from Greenfield, they always set up like this while they're in their huddle. They're always facing forward, ready to go. And they certainly play like that. They're always just being able to slam the ball right in.
Yeah. And now a new set of downs for the Green Wave. Receivers on either side of Cummings. The pitch back to Politis. He gets a block in the backfield. Strips a tackle. He's got some room, and he's still going. Brought down inside the 25 First down, Green Wave. What a carry from Politis.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic run. He's clearly got some great strides. However, the defense has been touching the running back a lot, but just haven't been able to bring him down.
I think that's going to be the big concern going forward, Tyler. I mean, there's one thing if you can stop him, for a couple short gains and he just keeps, chipping away at the yardage. But if he can get through almost your entire defense like that, I mean, everyone was around him, and that would be a false start called. Ref can't get his flag out. And we'll wait and see who the call is on. A lot of early movement on the near side of the field. I didn't quite catch. Did you see who might have moved first?
I did not. It was a lot of jumping.
Yeah.
But regardless, the Frontier defenses really need to just warm up. But that's okay. You usually see that at the very start of the game. Like, nobody's still on top of every single tackle, but now they'll start getting warm and being able to get it done.
Yeah, especially a rivalry game like this. I mean, everyone knows the rivalry between Greenfield and Frontier, and that is going to be a penalty called on the Green Wave. Replay the down, and it will be a 5-yard penalty. So 1st and 15.
Offsides against Greenfield.
Offsides was the call, and as we were saying, the nerves of a rivalry game can really get to you. I mean, especially if you can get a rowdy crowd, which the fans are a bit quiet right now. We'll see if that will change, if we get a change in the scoreboard as well. The handoff is fake to Politis.
Yep.
And Murray down the field. Open receiver. Touchdown.
Oh, wow.
Green Wave.
So much room there, Mason. Nobody was even close to all 3 eligible receivers on that side of the field.
Eric Martineau ran that route to perfection. I mean, that was just a great crossover route. You had 2 guys. They cross in front of each other, and both of the defenders take the same receiver. He's wide open on the far corner of the field, and now they're going to go for 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, Caden James was able to call which way the play was going and try to get people over there, but it wasn't quite fast enough.
Just a little too late on that, and the quick strike for the 2 points. Cummings connects to Krish Patel, and it's 8-0 Green Wave. Now, this has been the big issue for the Hawks so far this year, Tyler. They usually can make a pretty good stand on defense. Even when they don't, they can end up getting decent enough field position on the kickoff return. Special teams has been, variable. The big concern is the offense. We've only seen 1 touchdown from the Hawks so far. This is going to be a big test of both the Red Hawks' offense in this game and testing the caliber of Greenfield's defense. Can they come back and tie this game up on this upcoming drive?
Absolutely, Mason. That is exactly what I was thinking. To a further extent, Frontier, you asked me earlier, what do you think is going to be either offense or defense for this game?
Yeah.
And it's absolutely going to be an offensive game. These defenses have proven themselves time and time again. However, their offenses is really where it counts. I'm thinking that I didn't want to answer it before. I ignored it because this could either be a very slow game, but this looks like it's going to be a very competitive, fast-paced, and offensive game.
I mean, we're looking at 3 minutes coming off the clock for the opening drive. I mean, it's a pretty fast first drive.
It's great.
And so to kick off is the star of that first drive, Angel Politis. It will be an onside strike, picked up by the Hawks, and tries to find a hole. He's still up. Jack Phillips takes the sideline, and he's brought down by the kicker, Angel Politis, at the 20-yard line. What a great job from Jack Phillips in his first game back, too.
Exactly, yeah. You can never doubt this man. Fantastic player on and off the field. Wow. Yeah, not only does he have a leg, but he just made that play all by himself. There was so much, he had so many people just collapsing on him and was able to find just a little space and got around. Like an extra 15, 20 yards.
I mean, that was a great job. Beyond just, the extra yardage, stripped to tackle, too. He would have gotten brought down at, around the 35, and then he gets an extra 10 yards or so after that. So, great field position. This is what we were talking about. The special teams can really help out. Some scrambling in the secondary for Green Wave. Close formation for the Hawks. They'll pitch it over to Brady Pareda. He finds a hole in the line, still pushing, and he will get around 5, halfway to the first down. Pareda is the leading rusher for the Red Hawks with 96 yards so far on this season. He's had a lot of carries, but he did have that one breakaway run against Franklin Tech that helped set up their first touchdown, and so far only. That was Caden James who got to run it in from the 1 yard line in that game last week.
Absolutely. I imagine that soon we'll see another one. John Rouleau setting it up.
Now the 2nd and 5, we got receivers out to either side for Garrett Dredge. Plenty of players in the backfield, and they'll hand it off to Caden James, who gets brought down after a bit of a struggle for a loss of 1.
Caden James on the carry.
Yeah, the O-line was a bit spread out there, and they had one too many D-line members, and one to just fly right through and take down Caden right away.
And you can argue that's trying to sell the passing play on that, the outside corners. That's just, at the end of the day, you can try and deceive all you want, but you got to protect the yardage. You got to protect your fullback, which, James has had plenty of carries, but for very little gain. He's been pushing, and he's a big guy, but the O-line has been struggling to give him the gaps that he needs, and they'll give it to him again. No, they won't. They'll pitch it over to Pareda, who takes the sideline, and a hit is delivered as he goes out of bounds.
There you go. We couldn't even see with the best view in the house, and they definitely could not see. You could tell that one of the Greenfield D-line was trying to get him. He thought he had him too, but it could confused everyone. Great pitch.
Garrett Dredge really sold that fake, and now it is going to be a 4th and short, just under your yard, it looks like, and the Hawks will be going for it. I like the guts on the play call, and they're going to play the close formation again. Might see a quarterback sneak here. Garrett Dredge will give it to, I believe Caden James has it, and I can't tell from the angle. I think they're going to give it to him. They will. First down, Red Hawks.
James on the carry, and that was enough.
That was a close one. That was a fantastic opportunity. Jack Phillips got him on the special teams there, and they really could not lose that. So that's a great play call.
Yeah, I mean, that was a moment where a lot of the players on the sideline are definitely holding their breath.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the fans right behind the sideline. You can see some guys standing back there. And now a couple receivers on either side for Garrett Dredge. He almost gets taken down, but James goes up the middle and picks up a couple. That was, it's a good thing they had that running play in place, Tyler, because otherwise Dredge would have been brought down for a loss of 5 or 6. There was a guy right behind him. There was no blocker there.
Absolutely. That's a bit too close for comfort. And at some point when you run the same formation, the defense is going to be able to find a way to weasel their way through no matter what you're doing.
Yes. We were talking about the Franklin Tech game a little earlier today. We were watching it back, looking at some of their formations, and we're realizing, they have like 3-4 options for every different formation that they're running. But it gets to a point where you got to mix it up a little bit. You've tricked the team enough. And a little jumpy on the line is Green Wave. The handoff going backwards. Ben Karen spin move still up, and he's brought down for a big loss.
Ben Karen is taken down for a loss.
Yep. I mean, that was a
Bolston and Breer.
I can't blame Ben Karen at all for that. I feel like that, and we're not trying to place blame on these plays on anyone in particular, but the issue there for me was that took a lot of time for the handoff and for that play to actually develop. I mean, when you know that the offensive line is struggling a little bit, you got to act, you just got to play the game quicker. You got to move faster and get into the actual play, quicker than you normally might. And that can mess up a team's rhythm. That's the issue with that.
So far, Frontier's been doing a lot of trickery. Now they are lined up far to the left, 1/3 of the way.
3rd and 18. Dredge with the pitch, and now James taking the far side, stays up, and will get back just about to the line of scrimmage, so makes up for the loss on that previous play, and it will be a 4th and long. Now, this is an interesting situation. We saw the Red Hawks kick an extra point after a touchdown last game, so they do. I feel like you could say they have an option to go for the uprights, but it looks like that's not what they're going to be doing. It's an interesting discussion to have. You don't see that with high school.
I mean, they've converted on 4th down before. Might as well try again here while they have the chance.
Well, 4th and 12 is a bit of a long shot. Low snap. Dredge keeps it himself, and he goes down immediately.
Dredge on the carry.
Pocket collapsed around him, and there's nothing he could do.
Bolston.
So great field position is all for naught as the Red Hawks turn over.
Yep, plan A fell, and there's no room for plan B. It's all right.
They were able to pick up that one first down, but also they weren't able to pick up a first down without going to fourth down.
Yep.
And, you know, that's something else that we could talk about. As we said, the offense has been the big struggle for the Hawks this year. And, you know, now you've got the opposing team pinned down in their end of the field. See if you can get a stop. Politis will get the handoff again, gets a few blocks, and will take the sideline. He's still up, brought down, finally inside the 45. Another big run from Angel Politis.
Wow. That was a very interesting play there. First off, Politis, that was a fantastic run, held onto the ball. But the defense, every single defensive member that was able to get a hand on him also had a hand on the ball. Two people swatted the ball, another person full-on grabbed it, tried to go for it. And yet Politis was able to hold onto the ball. That is a great running back right there.
Yeah, I mean, beyond a great run, he's huge.
Yep.
Not necessarily in weight. We usually talk about that, like he can deliver some big hits. He's tall. He looks more like a tight end or a receiver, honestly.
Absolutely.
And now we got receivers, one on each side for Murray. Goes with the handoff again. And a big tackle. Jack Phillips is leaving his mark on this game pretty early on, and that will be marked down for a loss.
Very quickly, trying to just get through the O-line.
Man, I mean, that's a great play read from Jack Phillips. And Politis is shaken up. He took a big hit to the gut from Jack Phillips. He's standing on the sideline right now. So we might end up seeing a passing play here if Politis is not on the field.
Yeah, wow, I'm not sure what they're going to do here.
Now it's a second and long, second and 13. Murray still out on the field. And now it's Everett Allen from Pioneer in the backfield instead of Politis. And a stoppage of play. It will be a timeout taken by Green Wave, possibly to give Politis a little bit of time to recover on the sideline. Looks like he might have gotten the wind knocked out of him or just hitting the liver, which, that can, for anyone that's had that happen to them, that is not a fun experience. So they will take a break on the field, and we'll take a break up here. You're watching Frontier Community Access Television. Hello and welcome back to Frontier Community Access Television. We are coming back to the first quarter with 3 minutes to go. It's second and 13 for the Green Wave, and play is blown dead with a flag thrown on the far side of the field.
Yet another play, yet another play that doesn't be allowed to play. Like, wow.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be motion was towards Green Wave, and they are moving the ball back.
There's a flag on the play.
And that'll be offsides against Greenfield. That's the second penalty called against them of that fashion tonight. It's early in the game so far, and, both of us, Tyler and myself, coming off of watching a game with maybe a record of penalties. We can talk about that in a moment. Coverage shifting for the Hawks as they look for the pass on the near side. Will be a long throw down the field, and it's intercepted by Ben Karen at the 40-yard line. Huge underthrow from Caleb Murray, who's slow to get up after his hit in the backfield.
That was a complicated play there, Mason. There was two wide receivers on the side right here that only one of them was really covered, yet the one that was more open was not thrown to. It was the one a little bit further.
Yes, I'm so glad you pointed that out, Tyler. It's a really interesting option read by Caleb Murray. He had the choice to throw shorter and get an open receiver who would have gotten tackled probably short of the first down on a second and long. But he decided to go for the long throw, underthrew it, and now the Hawks have the ball with some pretty good field position again. And once again, it's up to the offense to make them pay for it.
Exactly. And whoa. Well, before we get into
this, and this could be bringing it back. Hold on.
And to just be fair to Greenfield, that he was out of the pocket and there was a lot of pressure. But let's see what the call is.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the Red Hawks. So that will negate the interception by Ben Karen. And so we'll have a replay of that down.
I admit that once he was out of the pocket, it did see a kind of late hit. That's all right.
Yeah, he was slow to get up. and that will be a 15-yard penalty.
Wow.
First down will be given to Green Wave. So a huge misstep by Caleb Murray will be scratched off of the record, and
absolutely brutal.
I mean that's just what happens.
Yep.
If you make a mistake, you're going to have to pay for it, but not if the other team also makes a mistake.
Yeah.
Now we got receivers on either side for Murray. Handoff to Politis. Go back to the old bread and butter. He breaks a few tackles, still up, and finally brought down by Connor James. Short of the first down, which might be one of his shorter runs of the game so far.
Yeah, Mason, that was incredible. I think that definitely was in part to Jared Dredge, who was able to fly in and grab a piece of his foot before he could get much room.
Yeah.
He just wobbled him. That's great.
And so now we'll see a 2nd and 4. Green Wave coming out of the huddle. They're going to be snapping the ball from the 44-yard line of the Red Hawks. So they're in their territory now. Receivers out for Murray, but he's got 2 guys in the backfield. And flag on the play after the Hawks pointing to the near side of the field. Looks like it will be on Green Wave again. It will be the 3rd penalty on Greenfield so far this game. False start. And that's what all the pointing was about. They saw him jump, and they called him for it.
That's crazy. I mean, that can be chalked up to nerves pretty easily here, Mason.
And as I was saying before, Giants-Cowboys game last night. I mean, the Cowboys, they came up with the win by 5 points, but how many yards of penalties did they have, Tyler?
I don't want to talk about it,
It was
Mason.
89 over 11 penalties, and 3 of them were holding calls.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that fake is sold pretty well by Caleb Murray. He's going to tuck it under his arm, stiff arm, and brought down. Heavy hit delivered by Caden James after Colin West drags him down. Murray is slow to get up again. He's getting beaten up pretty bad. And I mean, I suppose this is the good thing about having 2 quarterbacks. We might see Mason Cummings take the field in a moment.
Absolutely. He just got stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, he got pretty hammered on that
literally,
play.
Yep.
Yeah. But now we got a 3rd and 1 after, honestly, I mean, that was a well-done play by Murray. He was able to make some yardage out of something that just really fell apart in front of him. And now we're likely to see a running play to get that first down. Under a minute to go in the first quarter. Same formation as before. They'll hand it off to Politis, and he will pick up the first down, brought down by a shoulder, and the ball is loose, picked up by the Red Hawks, but it looks like he was called down before. A heavy hit delivered by Julian Adams on that tackle, and having a talk with the ref is number 8 of the Red Hawks, it looks like. I might just be reading his number. Oh, no, that's number 2. Scrunched up a little bit. Garrett Dredge having a talk with one of the refs. Not sure what it's about, and now the ref going over to talk to his dad, Scott Dredge. Maybe some confusion or some clarification they wanted to have.
Yep, definitely.
15 seconds in the first quarter. 1st and 10 from the Red Hawks 35. There's the snap to Murray. Back to throw. Out of the pocket. Rolling down the field. Looking for his receiver. And it's intercepted at the goal line.
Look at that.
Ben Karen.
And
that one will count.
There we go. No flags. No late flags.
And so at the end of the first quarter, the Hawks will stop a pretty good drive by the Green Wave. And when we come back, the Hawks will start their drive from their own 25 off of the touchback.
I don't know if they're calling it a touchback. It seems like they're conferring about, was it just on the goal line, right?
His feet touched down outside of the goal line, but he was brought down in the goal line. So it's a matter of where they determine he's down, and it looks like it will be a touchback. So when we come back, we will see the start of that drive. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Frontier Community Access Television. Hello and welcome back to Frontier Community Access Television. We're coming into the second quarter. 12 more minutes to play in the half for the the Red Hawks and the Green Wave. After an interception by Ben Karen, the Hawks have been ruled down on the 1 yard line. And instead of a touchback, they have some pretty rough field position. They're going to hand it off on the first play. A few blocks and a good move from Brady Pareda. He will get out to the 8 or 9 yard line, escaping the possibility of a safety right away.
This is always one of the scariest parts.
Yeah.
Very little room.
It is really scary. I mean, any play from back there, it's like, oh, well, we can run it, but then he might get stopped immediately. That's a safety. If we pass it, what if he gets sacked and the pocket collapses? That's also a safety. Or if it gets picked off on a pass. Easy, pick six right there.
So many bad options. If anyone gets even close to Garrett Dredge, the game, not good. Not looking good.
Yeah, not good at all. This is a time when the O-line really, really needs to prove themselves on the field. Receivers to either side for Dredge. Runners in the backfield. Takes the snap and hands it off to Pareda, who gets brought down but picks up the first.
There it is. You really can see. Keep giving it to Pareda. They can't seem to be able to catch up to him.
I mean, he's a great runner, Tyler. There's a reason. He now has over 100 yards on the season, and he's been as reliable as you can hope for, really. Not always the biggest plays, but he's always able to pick up a couple. Very rarely is he brought down for a loss or no gain.
Yep, consistent and reliable. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Ball's at their own 12-yard line, 1st and 10.
Teams line up. John
Receivers on the far side.
Ready for the snap. Dredge takes it. Quick handoff. James cuts up the middle, and he gets brought down at the 25. And that's a good use of the fullback. You don't wait. You don't let the defenders realize what's going to happen, and you just make a quick play right up the gut. That's a great play call and great execution by the Hawks.
Yeah, Frontier's really been switching it up. They're doing a lot more trickery, just trying to figure out what formation they should run and just completely throw off the defense. Like, Caden had all the room in the world with the distraction of the 2 wide receivers on the far side.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, having the receivers out there, you can have them as blockers, you can have them as just distractions, or you could just actually end up passing to them, which we know the Hawks don't typically do that, but that's why it can be a good option sometimes. Pareda on the handoff again, cuts to the inside and is brought down after a gain of 3 or 4.
There you go, again, reliable, consistent, still just being able to punch it down.
Yeah. And so that will be 2nd and 5. So again, solid pickup from Brady Pareda, who, by the way, his younger brother Noah Pareda has been a big presence on defense. We haven't talked about him much this game, but he currently leads the team in blocked passes and also has come up with some other pretty big. He's forced a fumble that ended up being recovered by the Red Hawks. Setting up on the near hash is the Red Hawks, and they got receivers only to the left of Garrett Dredge. The pitch over to Pareda. He's got some blockers, but will go out of bounds in front of the Greenfield bench. Will be close to the first down, and they will give it to him.
There you go. That's what you like to see. There's a lot of variation still going on. This is awesome.
At their own 35-yard line.
So, steady, consistent drive so far for the Red Hawks. You don't need to move it fast. Whatever gets you down the field gets you down the field to get those points,
Absolutely.
And right now, they're only down 1 score. They've been able to contain the offense of Green Wave fairly well, and they got themselves a new set of downs. Interesting formation in the backfield for the Red Hawks. They will pitch it over to Pareda, who cuts back inside and flags abound. Plenty of laundry on the field tonight. And let's see how this is going to be called. Greenfield coach does not seem very happy. All the flags came out just about at the time that Pareda was tackled. Let's see what the call from the refs is. They seem to have stopped deferring. Holding call on the Red Hawks.
Wow.
2nd of the night against the Red Hawks. 2 holding calls against the Red Hawks. So that will end up being on the offensive line, I assume, trying to get some room on the line of scrimmage for Brady Pareda, which is going to end up backfiring on them. only one of those penalties will be accepted. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. 10-yard penalty. So now it is 1st and 20 for the Red Hawks. Hand off right up the middle for Caden James, who gets doubled over.
Yeah, I mean, the Greenfield defense has been choosing to have a very spread out D-line and then have the linebackers right to be able to close on to whoever runs through the middle.
It's worked pretty well, especially for those runs like that using the fullback James for the Red Hawks. But now, you have to start wondering, we've run the pitch with Pareto a few times. We've run it right up the gut with James a couple times. How are we going to mix this up? How are we going to shake up this team that has been pretty solid on defense so far? And you're right, I'm only seeing 2 guys in the 3-point stance right now. And the ball is dropped on the handoff, covered up by Garrett Dredge. Good job on him for not giving up a fumble.
Yeah, it's all right. It's always tough to see that. It's just a little bit of a just like half a second of a
And anything can be at fault for that. There's so many things that could go wrong with that handoff on just like nothing that we can tell from up here. That's the kind of thing in the NFL. Even they can't tell sometimes, and it's just a misdirection of timing. That can really be like
pure
mentally.
Circumstance just happens.
Absolutely. And so now we have a 3rd and very long for the Red Hawks. 3rd and 19. You have to expect them to pass right now, but they got Colin West on the left side of Garrett Dredge for a blocker. And they will pass it to Colin West. Low pass. He will be ruled down about 5 yards short. That is Colin West's first reception of the season for 14 yards.
Yeah, Mason, that's not from lack of skill. It's just like Colin has been being played at different positions every single game so
yes,
far.
Absolutely. Yeah. But that hasn't stopped him from showing up on defense. He currently leads the team in tackles with 26.5 coming into this game. And now John Rouleau is on the sideline, and that means Colin West will make another appearance in our stat sheet as a punter. They got a call out. Looks like Jackson Spearance. Yep, he's coming out into the huddle. They'll be punting the ball. 4th and 5 is the down, and flags, delay of game is what I'd assume. I don't know if that is a penalty at this level, but I can't imagine much else. They seem to be talking for a while. You have to think maybe they were thinking about a fake, but
it's about 30 40. Yeah.
Definitely not now. You're looking at a 4th and 10, and so it is a delay of game penalty. So I wonder how they keep track of that. It must be a little stopwatch that the refs have themselves. Yeah. That's the only solution I can think of.
Yeah, the line judges, they keep a 30-second.
Yeah. Snap is off, and a flag is down.
Yeah. False start again.
False start on the Red Hawks. This is almost worse than the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
I mean,
embarrassing.
We got to start keeping track. What is this? This is like 6, 7 now?
Yeah.
Because we had 3 against Greenfield, and then we had 2 against Frontier, and now we've had like 3 or 4.
Yeah, like 3 false starts.
We've got like
offsides.
We've got like 8 or 9 right now. Yeah. We could be rivaling the Thursday night football game that we saw last night. Snap goes off clean, and the punt is beautifully spiraled down the field, a knuckleball, and it keeps rolling inside the 10, picked up, and they will make a nice move to the sideline. He's still up. James brings him down at last, and hanging his head in defeat is, I believe, that's Garrett Dredge, who got there first. Or no, I think that's Brady Pareda, actually. Yep. But man, oh man, that was a nice move that he put on him. That was Eric Martineau, who actually picked up the touchdown earlier in the first quarter for the Green Wave. That was looking to be a beautiful punt, and Martineau just picked it up, got him a few extra yards.
Yeah, absolutely, Mason, there. And, clearly there was no blame. Garrett Dredge was just moving. There was no way for him to be able to slow himself down to get that stop for that quick little move. Fantastic.
Yeah, and now the Hawks will take a timeout with 5:38 left in the first half. They are down 8-0 after a nice run back from Green Wave from the punt by Colin West. They're going to take a quick break, and so will we. You're watching Frontier Community Access Television. Hello and welcome back to Frontier Community Access Television. I'm still Mason Smith here with Tyler Wolkowitz, Kevin Murphy, Cole Melnick, and Connor Mabius. It is about halfway through the second quarter, and we're closing in on the end of the first half. Green Wave has the football after a turnover by the Redhawks. They just punted the ball, and now starting inside their 25 is Green Wave. A quick tackle and a great job by Garrett Dredge to trip up Angel Politis, who
Max Hunter
has been pretty dominant so far this game. Max Hunter credited with the tackle, but the first one to get there was Garrett Dredge, who aimed right for his legs, which is exactly what you were talking about before, Tyler.
Yeah, very, very, on any side of the ball, Garrett Dredge seems to be having some great strategy there, but yeah, Scribbles was able to get on top of him. It's good. Good quick little stop.
For only a 3-yard gain, that will be Politis' shortest gain of the game so far.
Receiver very far out on the far side.
Setting up on the left hash, and a handoff to Politis. Gets some blockers and wrapped up short of the first down, it looks like. It'll be another 3rd and short for Green Wave, which seems to be a comfortable position for them. They do have Politis in the backfield regularly. He got shaken up earlier, but obviously he seems to be all right now. There's no doubt in my mind that they're just going to go right back to him on, it looks like a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, just keep it going. There's nothing wrong with their plan, so they're just going to keep going.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with their game plan right now. If you want to see some more ingenuity of strategy, you can go over and watch a Franklin Tech game. Now in the backfield, Politis gets the ball, and he's stopped cold.
Oh.
They're held to 4th. What a job by the Hawks line.
Fantastic. That time Scribbles and Garrett both going for the legs.
4th down for the Green Wave.
Now this is a rare occurrence. You don't see this happen too much.
Especially from Green Wave. And
they're kicking.
And they will be kicking. It looked like they were setting up for a try. And it looks like this might end up being a trick play. They've got the receivers as potential blockers on the left side of the field.
And they're eligible to receive. I don't know.
Motion from the coach calling out a play to the guys on the field for Green Wave. The snap is off, and the punt is good way to the right and short. It will go out of bounds at the 40-yard line of the Red Hawks. And that actually, we'll give him a little bit of credit for that. That was Caleb Murray who let that punt go. So quarterback also punting. Also had some plays on defense. Seems to be nothing he can't do. To be fair, I couldn't do much better if I was going to be kicking the ball either.
No, I mean, we were seeing him in warm-ups. That's not the best he can do. That clearly went on the right side of his foot.
Oh, absolutely.
Was able to not go as far.
Very much skewed.
That right at the 40.
To the right. And now the Hawks, once again, some pretty good starting field position. And timeout taken by Greenfield. By the looks of the ref's hands. Yes. And so with 3 minutes left in the first half, they're going to go to a break on the field. And we're going to take a moment to talk a little bit more about what the Hawks might want to be doing to progress a little bit farther on their offense, which they've had some good moments. They've had some bad moments. How can they end up being more consistent? Is it the play call? Is it the offensive line? What are you thinking right now, Tyler?
Well, so far, Mason, their trickery has been working rather well. They've been able to march down the field and really throw off the defense, either that be lining up in a different formation or just simply just going for a play that no one would imagine. And I think if they keep it up, they're going to still be able to bring it down. I think that they just have to continue to be consistent, know where they are definitely going to get yards, and know where they might get stopped short. Like they keep setting it up in the middle with Caden or Colin, doesn't matter. Everyone can be stopped up right there. It's like their defense is strong, but I think if they just keep changing it up and playing.
Now, here's the thought. The last play that we saw on offense that was in special teams from the Red Hawks in this game was a 14-yard pass to Colin West. It was complete. It was a little bit short, but he was able to make the play and get the grab. It was short of the first down, and then we had a couple penalties added onto that play. And the Hawks setting up quickly. This is an interesting... The ref will stop him. Yep. And they're trying to make sure that everyone can get set, and now they will start the play. But as we were saying, despite seeing this close formation here, do we expect to see some more passing plays in the future for the Hawks? We'll just have to wait and see. The pitch over to Ben Karen is stopped for no gain.
Last time they did that type formation was the first play of the game, and they were able to get some really good yardage on there. I think they're still trying to just throw them off with what they can.
Yeah, so, I mean, they go back to plays that seem to work for them before, and then Greenfield seems to find a way to stop them. And part of that, I think, does have to do with the blocking on the offensive line. But then, now we see ourselves going back in the same formation. Are we going to go with the same play? Are we going to go with a different toss? And they're going to toss it back over to the other side, Pareda, and now he's brought down for a loss this time. And see, this is where Greenfield's starting to anticipate. They're reading their formations a little bit. And we've got a 3rd and 13 coming up for the Red Hawks. Is this where you see a passing play? This is similar to the scenario we saw in their last drive. They're trying things out. They're trying different running plays, different reads on similar formations, and now we've got guys going out as receivers. Potentially.
Absolutely.
No, we're not. They were all shifting over to the right hash. Same formation. And they'll do a flea flicker. James down the field, and it's picked off.
Ooh, too low.
By Martineau. Down the sideline. Dodges the tackle, and Martineau in for the pick 6. What a play.
Fantastic heads-up defense there by the Green Wave.
And give some credit to the D-line for Green Wave, who got his hands up in Caden James' face. It was a good thought from the play call, but when you have a guy who's just about to tackle you jumping up in your face like that, it's hard to throw an accurate pass, and it's safe to say Garrett Dredge was not ready to receive that catch time.
And absolutely, on paper, that play is perfect. Garrett Dredge should have easily blown by them, and Caden has an arm. He could have easily lobbed that up, but they were a bit too rushed, and they just couldn't pull it off.
Yeah,
so
and it was also, the unfortunate thing about that is the sequence of plays directly before it. Running play, running play. What are they expecting? Probably a running play when they see that formation. And so they might send a blitz. They're going to send more pressure as they set up on the field for the 2-point conversion here. They're going to send pressure, and that's exactly what they did. And they were able to get to James, who ended up being the quarterback, in the pocket. And now Murray rolls to his right, throw into the end zone, and it's caught over Brady Pareda for the 2 points. Martineau again.
Wow, you can't help to think, was that drawn up? Did they purposefully stack more wide receivers on the right and then throw it to the left for the one?
I feel like they had to. Yeah. If you have a one-on-one matchup you want to isolate it so there's no one else there.
Absolutely.
It's a good play call again, and I think that it's safe to say that Mike Kaczewski really knows what he's doing with this game, and it's also safe to say that Greenfield's players, especially Kayla Murray, are pretty pumped up right now, up 16-0 against their rivals, the Frontier Redhawks. This is exactly what they were hoping for, and this is definitely going to boost their rankings if they can keep this lead.
Absolutely, Mason. And, their head coach is doing fantastic, but also their defensive coordinator clearly has been studying some film. They have some play calling. Every time they have a nice laminated sign showing up what the offense might be doing on each down.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I noticed that, too, holding up the laminated signs, which communicate play calls, obviously.
Yeah, and their defense has been playing really great for it ever since. So I shout out the
I was trying to catch
here.
What they were chanting, but I couldn't quite. They stopped before I could really listen in.
They want a player. I don't know which player.
Oh, yeah.
We want someone.
They might be asking for the other quarterback. Since Murray's been doing so good, they feel a little more confident. And now Politis with the onside kick again. Karen will fall on top of it. Good safe call there.
Yep, Karen being more careful now, and that was a really good decision. Just being able to take your time and fall on it.
Yeah. And a great student section. You gave them a shout-out just a few moments ago, but a great student section from Green Wave and the other associated schools in the co-op, who I'm assuming have several students showing up. Frontier student section is here, but is currently sitting down. Understandable to a certain extent, I gotta say.
Yep, definitely. And it's cold. It's fair enough.
It is getting cold. Me and you are in T-shirts right now, so We're shaking a little bit, but it's all right. Now the Hawks have the ball again after that quick score from Green Wave. Let's see if they'll try something different. Looks like a passing play. And down the field, Dredge looking for Skorowski, and it's batted down.
Great hands.
Martineau.
Fantastic defense right there. Look at that. Right at like a, oh, wow. Beautiful.
That was a spectacular play. I mean, Martineau is having quite a game tonight. 2 touchdowns, one of them a pick 6, and now he's having a block pass. He's having a great appearance on defense beyond scoring a touchdown and one of their 2-point conversions.
Absolutely, Mason. Yeah. You got to notice now, Caden James playing on offense. He's going to be pumped up after accidentally throwing that pick 6 there. I just saw him absolutely take a Greenfield player and just put them on the grass.
Yeah.
It's intense.
I mean, that's the good thing about some of these players. They can make mistakes like that, but they just use it to fuel themselves on the field.
Exactly. Committed to the cause.
And looking for a passing play again, it will be a lateral that it will be marked as a forward pass. Marked incomplete.
Yep, defender got a hand on that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You could see the spiral was really messed up after that. And so a 3rd and 10. Once again, another 3rd and long for the Red Hawks.
Now, they've been doing pretty decent here on the 3rd down. It's just really up to a 50-50 chance on the 4th down, so they really got to see if they can revert here, or at least get a vast majority of the yards in. Yeah,
and I mean, something to mention. It's 16-0 right now. The defense has only let up 1 touchdown.
Yep.
That's the thing. And so now we've got 3 receivers. 2 to Dredge's right. He's got a running back behind him. Might end up pitching it over, but no. James uses a block, and it's caught. Nice. Picks up the first down. Ben Karen.
Fantastic find.
He's got an interception on the game. Picks up a first down there. We're seeing a lot more passing plays than I thought that we would from both teams. This is a welcome change from, the dogged running game that we're used to here in Western Mass football, Tyler.
Absolutely, Mason. This is what you like to see. This is how the game is supposed to go in both ways. It's great to see.
You need some aerial attacks every now and then, and they'll stick to it. Dredge starting to get comfortable back there, but he has to roll out, and he throws it forward back to the line of scrimmage and takes a hit.
It's in the direction of a receiver, so not called intentional grounding. It's good.
Dredge's pass is incomplete.
It's a good job by Dredge not taking the sack. I mean, that's what you want your quarterback to do at any level. You see the pressure coming, find someone close that you can throw it to, and you try and throw it close to them but right into the ground. You don't really want to take too many chances unless you see someone wide open.
Absolutely.
And now, same formation seems to be swapped on the sides, and James looking for a block again, rolling to his left, connects with Colin West for the big pickup. That was 15-yard pass right there, and that was some great placement right there from Garrett Dredge.
And Dredge also had very great awareness of where his defenders were and where the defense was trying to get in.
I was fantastic. I mean, roll to the left, have your blocker there with you. I mean, James is playing his role really well on this drive, and I think this might be one of the most productive drives we've seen from the Red Hawks, maybe all season, and it's because they're using the passing game, and it's also catching this Greenfield defense off guard. So now more in the backfield. Looks like they might be looking downfield, and the pass to Pareda gets off this time, and he takes it to the sideline out of bounds for about 4 or 5 yards.
That's what you can see. This Frontier team does not pass, but already their quarterback is making some good decisions. That was a nice option play where he had a lot of opportunity for a big game, but you could see the quarterbacks were kind of close, so he took the nice little short pass to get some gain.
Yeah, and that was, great play from Brady Pareda, because now you look at the clock, 24 seconds left and a half.
Yep.
Hawks are running out of time to capitalize on this great drive, and that is why they've been passing the ball more. They're trying to get down the field faster, trying to get on the board before the half, because this might be one of the best opportunities they have for it. Likely to see passing here. And flag is thrown.
Start.
It's against the Red Hawks once again.
Wow. At the 10th?
It's
procedure call against the Red Hawks.
So, yeah, again, the Red Hawks need to score here. That would be fantastic. And then also, they deferred at the beginning of the game, so they'll be getting the ball in the half.
True.
Yep.
That's ultimately the hope. They score here, they can cut the lead in half, and then they come back out in the second half and they can tie it up. That's
Just
if
like
a
that.
lot of things go right. Calling back to the timekeeper to put another second back on the clock.
And the timekeeper is yelling back, just start the play slowly.
Well, I guess he'll count to 1 in his head and he'll start it a little late. But here we go. There's the snap to Dredge. Back to throw. Plenty of time in the pocket. Down the field. It's Colin West.
Oh!
And he drops it. A hit delivered to his back. But that will stop the clock. It will be 3rd and 9 for the Red Hawks. An unfortunate moment there.
But that was a fantastic attempt by Colin West.
Here's the other thing. The Hawks still have 2 timeouts left.
Yep.
They have 18 and a half seconds on the clock. But honestly, they have way more than that if they play their cards right.
Really do. I think that was a really great choice going with Colin there. But sadly, there's 3 people on him, so he didn't have any room to breathe. And just,
it was a
so
beautiful
close.
pass from Dredge. He put it right where it needed to be. Colin was right there, too. And a hit delivered at the right time, right before he could really clamp his hands down on it.
So close.
Good play by the defense, ultimately. And now back to throw again.
Nice.
He will run forward. Garrett Dredge takes a hit and will be short of the first down. And timeout will be taken by the Hawks. That is their second timeout. They will have 1 left with 12 seconds on the clock. This is one of the best times to be watching a football game.
Absolutely.
The 2-minute drill, 1-minute drill, just fast paced, get down the field, and you start thinking, well, why don't they do this all the time? Why don't they speed down the field like this? It's so fun to watch because they're all scrambling. Everything's got to line up perfectly, and it's really fun to watch, man.
And this is where you see the most invigorating plays as well. That last play right there, Caden James went flying in first. I would do not envy any of the linemen there who had to be running into him. And then Garrett was able to sneak right through there and get some good yards.
And now we have a 4th and short. So the question is, do the Hawks go for the end zone here? They're just outside their 20-yard line. Or do they go for the first down, take their last timeout, and then try and go for the end zone with a fresh set of downs, which, incompletion, stops the clock. Effectively another timeout.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of options. I would say going for the sideline here could be good, but you never know. You might want to switch it up and try to go for a run because that's what the Greenfield team probably least expects right now.
Yeah, do you want to pitch it over? They could have, because, they have plays where they can pitch it over to some of their receivers or running backs, get a few screens, and they can get the ball out of bounds. They're setting up far on the right hash, so we'll see what they end up doing. They do have blockers on the right potentially, and they will pass the ball. Caught.
Not out. Call it. Yep.
And
Judge's pass complete.
It will be a first down for the Red Hawks. Slow ruling there from the refs. I was holding my breath.
Red Hawks timeout.
And they'll take their final timeout. 7.5 seconds left. They're now on their 20-yard line. Fresh set of downs, and I like the play call. I got to say, I think that taking it a little bit slower and, trying to manage your time in this way is a good way to go about it instead of rushing it on one last play when you have potentially more time.
Absolutely, Mason. Yeah, this is in field goal range for this team. However, they really want to get some more points on the board, so I feel like they have to go for it.
Yeah, it's pushing it a little bit for Noah Pareda, who we have not mentioned a lot tonight. I'm not sure. I can't really see too far onto the Hawks sideline. They're all clumped up right now. But, Pareda kicked an extra point from it was inside the 5 is where he kicked it from. So, out here, it's a bit of a stretch. It would be a long shot for Pareda, but we'll see what they end up trying to do. I think that they'll be going for the touchdown here. They need to cut that lead in half is what they're hoping for, or at least put 6 points on the board.
Absolutely.
And this is exactly what they're talking about in the huddle. That's why they're taking so long, because there's so many things you can do. What's going to be the right way to go about this? They've got Ben Karen on the far left side at the top of your screen. On the short side of the field is Ty Skorowski and Brady Pareda. James in the backfield. High snap and pressure. rolling out of the pocket, down the field, in the end zone, tripped up is Colin West. It's ruled incomplete, no flags with a 2.5 seconds, so the Hawks will get a second shot at this. Hawks fans will be looking for a flag there.
Absolutely, but that wasn't the worst outcome. They still have another chance here. Yeah, a bit of a they had the motion and try to move everything to the right, but there was just a little bit of, I think it was the linebacker who was able to run right through and not have any.
Yeah. It was, I mean, that comes down to a bad blocking scheme and someone not doing their job correctly on the line, because, if Dredge had a little bit more time, maybe you could have scoped out Karen on the other side of the field if he had been open. I wasn't looking over there, not saying that he was, but now same formation as before. Yeah. James in shotgun. Back to throw. Other side of the field, it's Ben Karen, and it's over the head and out of bounds. That will be the end of the first half with an overthrown pass to Ben Karen from Garrett Dredge. 16-0 is the score going into the locker room. Green wave is up, and I think that we're seeing a bit of potential here for the Red Hawks. I mean, it's only the second half. Anything can happen, but it's definitely not over. A lot of life in the Red Hawks in that last drive, especially with the passing game.
Absolutely. Like, they keep almost getting there. It's just like that last crucial moment just to be able to finish it, get the points. Yeah,
and I mean, theoretically, if they had 2 more downs and enough time to do it, would they have been able to get it there? We know that they have some limitations in diversity for their pass options, but I feel like they might have been able to get an opening in the secondary, and, I guess we'll never really know. But we might be able to see some more chances like that in the second half. And now, for halftime, it looks like we're going down onto the field by a performance by Greenfield's marching band.
Good to see. Yeah, I always like to see a marching band at high school and college ball. It really elevates the experience.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the college marching bands are something else.
Oh, yeah.
That's something I'm really looking forward to next year, I got to tell you.
Definitely.
Loving our super fan section over there, making a lot of noise. Let's keep going. All right, taking the field tonight is the pride of Greenfield High School, under the direction of our brand new band director, and we're so happy to have her, Miss Hannah Cherry. Give it up for Miss Cherry. We love having her here at Greenfield. And of course, our 2 amazing drum majors, Zach Odarski and Nate Woodard. The show they're going to show you tonight is the theme song from James Bond. Drum majors, is your band ready?
Hello and welcome back to Frontier Community Access Television. We are coming back into the second half in just a few moments. It's 16-0. Greenfield Green Wave is on top of the Frontier Red Hawks by 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. We have some updates about some other Frontier sports that are happening at the same time as we are filming this right now. Frontier's boys soccer team gets another win on their record as they beat Mahar in an away game 7-0. We got that information from Captain Benjamin Kachawango.
Yep.
He also told me that they were up 4-0 at the half. So pretty consistently scored game for them, I suppose. But the unfortunate news from our other games is that the girls soccer team played at Hurley today against Greenfield's girls soccer team, and that they recorded their first loss of the season, 4-3, in a very close game. Very tough loss for them. So now they will move to 8-1 instead of 9-0. So that ends, I think that makes the girls cross country team the only team at Frontier that remains undefeated on this season. They definitely seem to be on the up and up, but that is neither here nor there right now in Greenfield. So hopefully we can see the Frontier football team get some redemption for their girls soccer squad, even though they're likely oblivious to that score right now.
As they should be. They're locked into this game. They're trying to figure out what they need to do, what they're doing good, what they're doing bad.
And I'd say what they're doing good is running that passing play. It was working for them, and they just simply ran out of time. There was a few good defensive plays that were made, combinations of pressure on Garrett Dredge, and also a few good defensive plays by the DBs. But for the most part, we saw a surprising presence from Frontier's receiving core at the end of that second half, and now maybe we'll end up seeing a lot more of them as the Hawks are going to be receiving this second half kickoff. And the temperature keeps dropping, Tyler. It is getting a little bit chilly here. We're looking at 64 degrees. I don't know what that is.
Wind.
I was trying to see, can we get a wind chill as well? Wind gusts are up to 5 miles per hour. So it says it feels like 66, so it says like it feels warmer than it actually is, but they're lying to you.
They don't know anything. So we're here, okay?
we're here, and it's a little chilly, but also we're only wearing T-shirts and like what is this fabric called? Polyester?
I don't know.
So it's a synthetic fabric that is very breathable, and so we're feeling the full effect of the wind. But we're pushing through it, and anyway, back to football. As we were saying, passing game working very well at the end of that half, especially a couple receptions for Colin West, who that's his first time really touching the ball on offense so far this year, which obviously a big milestone for him, but I think a big step forward for this team, just mentally being like present for that almost. You know?
Yeah, right. They're being able to utilize all their weapons properly now that they don't have as many position shortages, with the injuries and all.
Yes, and also making a big presence, not so much in the second quarter, but definitely in the first, was Jack Phillips, who, as we mentioned at the start of this game, it's his first game playing with the Redhawks this season after going through concussion protocol. He had a spectacular start to his game and some great appearances on defense as well. As special teams. And now, speaking of special teams, it is the opening kickoff of the second half. We got a line drive, and it will stay in play. Bad judgment call from Brady. He's going to pick it up at the 5-yard line, trying to do something, and he'll only get 5 yards out of that. A really bad bounce for the Redhawks, as it looked like it was going directly out of bounds at the 20, but it kept rolling, staying in, and got all the way back to the 5.
Yeah, Mason, it's really, really hard to tell what football's going to do when it's bouncing. Yeah. Like, you can see some kickers in the pros, like, they're able to throw it off the ground and catch it. They know exactly where it's going, but that takes complete commitment. Anybody here is very skilled, of course, but being able to tell where it's going to go, it's almost luck.
Yeah, anyone can tell you this isn't pro football, including the players out there, especially the players out there. Yeah. As a matter of fact, they know probably better than any of us, including the two of us who talk about this probably way too much. But now we've seen the Hawks in this position before. They were able to move down the field a little bit, and I believe that drive was stopped short of the 50-yard line. But now we got some receivers out for Garrett Dredge. Movement in the backfield, and he is hit by the defensive line, makes a smart play, and drives straight up the middle. That was a great awareness call from Garrett Dredge. He could have tried to stick with the play, and it looked like they were going to pitch it back to Ben Karen, who was moving towards the backfield, and go to the far side of the field. But he decided he wasn't going to have enough time, and it might go wild into the back of the end zone. He just kept himself, got a couple yards, and now it's 2nd and 7.
Absolutely, yeah. And Cade James was already holding his man, so it was a great decision.
It looks a little bit more like 2nd and 5 to me, and
yep.
The scoreboard now agrees with me. 2nd and 5, motion in the backfield, and the pitch is over to Brady Pareda, who will duck under a tackle and come up just a yard short of the first down. 3rd and short will be what the Hawks are looking at. Just about a yard, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
3rd and 1.
So far, nothing has really been able to get what they have been going for the first half, but this always happens in the third quarter right off the cusp.
We can talk day and night about how pivotal third quarter is in every sport. And we talked about it so much during the basketball season. But now, excuse me, we could be looking at any number of trick plays here from the Redhawks. We've seen this formation before. Motion by Brady Pareda. The pitch over to him. Nice. He's got some room. We'll pick up the first down and a little bit more as he lowers the shoulder going into the sideline. And slow to get up as his helmet got knocked off was Everett Allen, the senior cornerback from Pioneer. He will stay on the sideline. That was a rough hit.
Yeah, he came flying in there like he was about to break open a giant medieval door. That was it was impressive.
But the Hawks will pick up the first down with that run by Brady Pareda, and they are on their own 24-yard line.
Similar formation.
Maybe some options from Carter Robinson. And Dredge takes it himself, stopped cold at the line of scrimmage by a host of Green Wave players.
Yeah, they read that one like they had the playbook right there. There was no room for Garrett to make any decision. He could have tossed it back. Not really, because there was somebody right on him and around him. There's nothing to do.
And that's exactly what happened on that first play of this drive. He couldn't pitch it back, and he was able to escape a little bit, but they wrapped him up pretty cleanly here. And now you start to wonder, we've seen a couple running plays. Do you throw the ball? And we've been asking this question all night. When are they going to throw the ball? And they only did it when they really need to get down the field quick. But now we see some receivers going out, including Colin West, who's been a target more often than not in this game. Carter Robinson to Dredge's right. Keeping the ball is Garrett Dredge. Pitch over to Ben Karen, who's going to try and cut back. Stiff arm, and he won't get back to the line of scrimmage. Good effort by the wideout, but not enough to get him back for no gain.
Yeah, these pitch plays have been really 50-50 so far. Every time that Ben Karen has to cut back, it's like there's no gain, and then it's been really tough.
He's trying to make the most of a bad situation because when he has to cut back, what that means is that the blockers aren't doing their job. They aren't giving him the time and space on the field to move forward and cut that corner.
And that Greenfield defense was able to get there much faster than everyone else. Yep.
Yeah, much faster than any Frontier blocker was able to get to their man. And now they have a similar formation going out wide to the right. Is Carter Robinson. Motion by Brady Pareda. Back to throw is Garrett Dredge. The slant route, and it's too high for Colin West, who's looking for a flag. There was a lot of contact in the middle of the field there, but he'll get nothing. 4th and long is what it will be for the Redhawks. So they will look to punt.
Absolutely, Mason. Yeah, I mean, as you were saying earlier at the start of that drive, they really got to watch out. They're not having... The O-line is not giving Garrett Dredge too much time, and that's not always their fault, but sometimes they just need a bit more room. I think that maybe they should go into the shotgun for a while, be able to give him some room. It's okay. Their pass has been going well.
Yep. The shotgun was that was the formation that we saw from the backfield during that passing drive. That seemed to work in under the 2 minutes at the end of the first half. And let's see if we can get this punt off clean. We will, and the kick is off, comes up a little bit short, will roll past Martineau and all the way inside the 35. Picked up by Garrett Dredge and will be down at the 32. great punt from Colin West, a little bit too short for Martineau to be comfortable picking that up, and then it rolled an extra 10, 12 yards. But as we were saying, if you go back to that shotgun formation in the backfield, that's an extra blocker right there. If you want to throw a passing play, it's all about the options. Where can the players go from these formations that you're not expecting? If he goes back to that blocking position, it's really easy to do that from the shotgun formation for especially James, who's been playing that role so well this game.
Mm-hmm. As much as you want them the ball, they're also fantastic blockers and can take out 1 to 3 people in the same play.
Yeah, but now James is playing inside linebacker and will go after, oh my goodness, Jack Phillips again. And we're going to get a flag on the play.
Stopped by Jack Phillips.
And that's Max Hunter looking around with his arms in the air saying, what did I do? So that seems like it will be on the Hawks, but we'll see what the refs end up motioning. Quick discussion this time.
Yeah, they're on the same page.
Holding call on Green Wave, and so we'll go the other way. And so maybe it was Max Hunter asking, why isn't there a penalty?
Yeah,
and then he saw that he was standing on the flag, which he was.
Oh, yeah. Well, either way, that was a great stop by Jack Phillips there. He blew by his man and was able to get him.
Yeah. And that's the second time we've seen him do that. Read the play perfectly, cut through the offensive line of Greenfield. And, I mean, someone's got to watch this broadcast back and tell us how many flags there's been, because, I mean, it's just the field's turning yellow. And keeping the ball, pass, caught, short of the first down. That's Jonathan Brior, the tight end, his first reception and target of the game. We have not said his name once, but we said it quite a lot on the basketball court last year, Tyler.
Yeah, absolutely. If this was in the winter, it would be a different story, that's for sure.
And it is going to be a different story in the winter. It's his senior year, and he is looking to make a big mark on the court with Greenfield, especially with his main opponent in the key gone. That was Owen Babb. He's now at DA, and so Hawks are going to have to struggle to find a way to compete with him, but we'll talk about that when those games come around. 2nd and 12 is the down in the backfield. Politis gets the pitch and is brought down by his feet. The Hawks have figured him out better than they were able to figure out Josiah Little, that's for sure. And it's worth mentioning, we talked to our friends over at Bear Country after the game against Franklin Tech. They said Josiah Little is a really special guy, and I mean, anyone can tell you that from watching our stream of it. He played as a freshman, 1,000 yards rushing. Sophomore year, 1,000 yards rushing. Junior year, 1,000 yards rushing. It's his senior year, and they were saying to me, we've never heard of a kid in this area or anywhere in high school playing for all 4 years and getting 1,000 yards rushing each year. I mean, he's really something special, Tyler.
Not only will he definitely be getting a banner, he might get his own placard or something. He is absolutely
phenomenal. Maybe they'll name the gym after him.
Exactly.
Same formation as the last play. Handoff is kept by Murray. Stutter step gets around West, and he's brought down way short of the first. A lot of pushing and shoving after the play, and that's Noah Pareda right in the middle of it all.
Mason, one thing I got to say here is Greenfield has always got a fantastic plan B. There's been several times where their plan A has not gone quite. Like, you've seen it twice on this drive already, and yet their backup has just worked perfectly. They're able to recover and not lose any major yards. And Frontier has been struggling with that all season long.
Yeah, and so now will we see a punting play here? Will they go for it?
4th and 4.
It looks like they will be punting the ball. It's going to be Caleb Murray who is going to be back for the kick. Receivers on the bottom of your screen here. Long snapper ready. And flag on the play. Delay of game is likely what it will be.
Flag on the play. Delay a game penalty on the Greenway.
Yeah, and that will be the second that we've seen on a punting play, actually. Yep. It just seems to be, that's just throwing off a lot of, both sides of the ball here. They're just, it's an odd play for them to have to do. I mean, we've seen more turnovers than punts in this game.
Yeah, these coaches are really focusing on strategy. They're not spending much time on the semantics. You know?
Yeah. And so this time they will get it off, a high snap, and sent down the field, and he is aiming to the right at this, it seems to be.
Purposeful.
And it will roll out of bounds at the 40 once again. And a flag is down. That will be against the Red Hawks. Julian Adams likely on the call, either him or it will be on Jackson Colleen of Green Wave. There was a lot of scuffling after the play had left that area, and the ref aggressively threw the yellow towel on the ground. Greenfield seems to be celebrating, but we'll see what the call is.
Slow to make it.
And it will be on Green Wave.
Late hit.
I believe it's on Green Wave. He gestured both ways, but I'm not sure if he was meaning. Yes, it will be. Excuse me. It will be on Green Wave. He was motioning for possession the second time that he pointed. Yeah. That was what confused me. And now.
Flag on the play was a personal foul against Greenfield.
Yeah, that'll be against Jackson Colleen, the junior, on the offensive line. And
Green Wave's 45-yard line.
Now a huge 15-yard gain. I mean, this is exactly what we saw in Thursday Night Football last night, Tyler. It just killed them again and again. The pitch over to Pareda. He's got some blockers. But the pocket collapses, and he's brought down for a loss.
This D-line from Greenfield has been very competitive, very strong. And Pareda was just being able to run straight through and pull them straight back. He just stop instantly.
Yeah.
Intense.
They're not letting anything get by them. They're not making this game easy at all for the Red Hawks. They're fighting for every single yard, and we are now looking at 4 minutes left. 2/3 of the third quarter has gone by, and now we're looking at 16 minutes of game left in the second half. Hawks still scoreless, 16-0. They're on Greenfield side of the field, and oh my God, Garrett Dredge just ran right by a defender, and he gets thrown out of bounds. I do not understand how he just did that. He had the ball, and he turned his back to the lineman who looked at him and turned away. That it might be the best sell of the night. Oh, my God.
Fantastic trickery all night. It's fantastic. Oh, my gosh.
I mean, these teams knew they would be going to this game against an evenly matched team. It was going to be close. And the score not necessarily reflecting it, but Frontier is in this game. They're fighting for it. And it's plays like that that are making a difference. You pick up a big first down, and now you're deeper inside their territory. The handoff to James, he will fight for the 4 yards and get them.
There you go, Mason. Yeah, I mean, this is a very crucial drive. You know, you can't always call it ahead of the time, but in the third quarter, maybe the last drive the Red Hawks get this quarter, it's like they have to try to get some points here. They're driving well, and they're doing a really interesting strategy, doing the same formation, just running different plays on it every time. That really does get defenses confused.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where the Hawks really need to get some points on the board. Time is running out for them. And the handoff is kept by Garrett Dredge. He sneaks through the line, lowers his shoulder. He's still up, and he picks up the first down. What a run from Garrett Dredge. And he goes over to hype up the sideline and the fans.
You love to see that, Mason. That has been really positive.
And I got to tell you, he's following in his older brother's footsteps. This is exactly what Aiden Dredge did in the game against Greenfield last year. We saw a much less developed defensive line from Greenfield in the last time they met back in 2023. But this time around, they're kind of meeting their match here.
Absolutely.
And what Aiden Dredge did is he ran the ball. He got at least 2 running touchdowns, I believe. And long-running touchdowns at that, and now Garrett Dredge doing the same thing, not for touchdowns, but for plenty of yardage, and that will be on Greenfield's side of the ball. But we'll see who it ends up being. A couple Greenfield players motioning to the Red Hawks, and it looks like it will be on them. A false start.
Against the Red Hawk.
Wow. Like we were saying, plenty of laundry on the field tonight.
Absolutely, Mason. But yeah, as you were saying about the Greenfield D, like they've been really solid. They've been doing an unusual lineup too. It's like I believe like they're doing a 4-3, which is not too common. But since it's a very tight formation from the Frontier offense, they're having their cornerbacks right on the line as well.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a situation, if you can get someone downfield for a pass and enough time for that, it could end up working out really well. And Caden James will be short of the first down, but gets pretty close.
I have to give some props to the defense there. The person who was able to get to Garrett Dredge, the quarterback, was held on to him for a longer time, made sure that looked at his hands and made sure he didn't have the ball.
They don't want to repeat that mistake twice. Otherwise, they're going to get an earful from their coach, Kachowski. And so now it is a 2nd and 5 for the Redhawks after a big run from Caden James and another great trick play from the Redhawks. They've been fooling the Green Wave all night. Motion by Ben Karen. Dredge keeps the ball. Pitch over to Ben Karen. He's got a lane, takes the sideline, and comes up short of the goal line. He wanted to bring it in. But now the Hawks have the best opportunity to score they've had all night. It is 1st and goal from inside the 5, or actually it will be on the 5. And Scott Dredge, the coach for the Redhawks, is giving Connor James a little talk before he goes out onto the field.
That's what I like to see, Mason. Yeah, I think that they're doing this specific setup just because of their defensive coordination here. Like their head coordinator is being able to call out every play, but I don't think they've seen this before. This might not have been in any of their film.
Yeah. And now we got under a minute left in the 3rd quarter. Close formation again from the Redhawks. Dredge takes the snap, hands it off to Caden James, who gets stopped cold, maybe even for a loss of 1.
Clock is still running. 35 seconds.
The Hawks would like to score in this 3rd quarter and save some time for themselves in the 4th, because even if they score here, they're still down a touchdown. Absolutely. They will take their time in the huddle, though. Likely have a play or two more that they'll be able to get off. Excuse me.
Absolutely. And if the quarter runs out, they'll just get the ball on the other side.
2nd and goal from the 7. Same formation, tight to Dredge. And almost a false start from Green Wave. Handoff. Pareda. Spin move. Touchdown. Nice. Redhawks.
And Brady Pareda.
Look at that.
Fist bump from Garrett Dredge.
Touchdown.
And Frontier is on the board. A beautiful drive and a great finish. They will be going for 2. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. And that has been what this whole offense has been building up to for this whole night, Tyler. That is great to see.
Absolutely, Mason. Yeah, I think that the last one there, they spread out their line a little bit to have all the receivers, everyone else lining up to make that extra wide and just have Brady Pareda find the right hole, and that was beautiful.
I mean, wow. Big gap opening up for Brady Pareda. He got tangled up in the linebackers, but a great move he put on them. And now maybe we'll see a similar play for the 2 points. Tight formation again. And Dredge drops back. Cuts to the far side, and he fumbles the ball.
Touch him. All right, it's down.
2-point conversion will be no good, and the Hawks will be down by 10.
2.4 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Green Wave 16.
So Green Wave will have a chance to have a run back from this kickoff here. It will be the Redhawks' 2nd kickoff of the game. Their first was the opening kickoff at the start of the 1st quarter. So now 2.4 seconds on the clock, likely to be the last of the 3rd quarter. But as is always the situation after a score, it is up to the defense to get the ball back in the hands of Garrett Dredge in the pocket and let him do what he has been doing, which, I mean, he did a great job staying in the pocket, reading the defense. He had a few option plays that he did very well, and he carried the team down the field with Brady Pareda and Caden James making some big plays. And now the Hawks are on the board.
Absolutely, Mason. All right. Kind of hitter they're going to go for.
Phillips on his 2nd kick with the Redhawks. It will be a ground ball. Oh. Hits the foot of a Green Wave player and almost turned over. I'd say that's the second
Yeah.
Actually, no. That's might be
That's the end of the third quarter.
the worst
Greenway
response
16,
to
Red Hawks
an onside kick we've seen so far this
Yeah.
season. We saw the second one against Lunenburg where it rode up his whole body and he just didn't know where the ball was. Not entirely his fault, but that was scary for them. That just straight up hit his foot. He looked at it and then put his hands up in the air.
He was like a deer in headlights. I've never seen anything like that.
I'm not sure what his plan was there, but if his teammate hadn't jumped on the ball, that would have been an easy turnover for the Hawks and a very successful onside kick.
Turned in a lost bracelet up at the press box.
He's certainly not one who must jump on a lot of those balls, but still, you have to react. That was just
props to Jack Phillips for a great kick.
Yep.
And also being the first guy there to recover the ball. And on the sideline, I don't know if you've noticed, Tyler, Caleb Murray, he is a little bit outside the huddle right now. He is drinking some water, and he will be staying on the sideline. He's been eating about 3 or 4 different bananas. You can see some of the peels just on the bench if you look over there. And it seems like that is a cramp that he's dealing with. And
it's the potassium.
You know, it's the potassium.
Yeah.
You have bananas, eat bananas.
I have one in my bag. Should I throw it down to him? We'll see.
Maybe it would help him out.
I know, right?
But now we're going to be seeing Mason Cummings on the field for the first time for the Green Wave. And this could be an interesting change of pace. Different quarterback. They have a different rhythm for the offense, for the snap. And so will this end up working out better or worse for the Green Wave? Can Frontier's defense capitalize on it? And will we see more passing plays? Because that's always a question and interest of ours.
Yep, those are the questions we need here.
T formation. Politis gets the ball, takes the sideline, and is wrapped up by Connor James. Almost stripped the ball from him.
There's a flag on the play.
Oh, yeah, late flag in the center.
And it seems like number 78 on the line is a little bit upset. That's Phil Ragland. Likely involved in whatever the incident might be.
That's the same player who Jet Phillips just tipped the ball into.
Yeah. Gesturing over to Frontier's side of things, but you could also take that as gesturing over to Greenfield's bench. We'll see what they end up saying. This, again, an incredible amount of penalties that have been called in this game. Neither team has played clean at all in this game. Yeah. I'd say Frontier has had less penalties than Greenfield, but it's not anything. It's not a low bar.
Yeah, right.
You know?
But in all honesty, a lot of this has been errors too. There's just been delay of games.
There's been so many of those, and
whoa.
I mean, you can also. I mean, we've seen that happening in the NFL a lot as well, and so the call delivered by the referee at midfield will be against the Red Hawks and against Greenfield. There are 2 penalties on the play, and so they offset. So, 2 penalties come to nothing.
Offsetting penalties on that, and the way we'll have a 1st and 10.
So the run does count, the play stands, and we will continue with the game. Hawks down by 10. 12 minutes for them to conduct a comeback. It's a 2-score game. 2-score game no matter which way you look at it.
Yep. Yeah, it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to get an after point and a 3-point.
Yeah. So, I mean, a field goal we have yet to see.
In this lead at all.
Off-speed snap there, and Politis dodges a tackle. Still going. Politis, spin move, still up. Politis inside the 10, and 2 flags down, an early and a late one.
Certainly different events.
It looked like I'd expect the second one to be on the Red Hawks. It looked like that was a horse collar tackle. They were getting desperate, trying to save a long rushing touchdown, but we might also see this play get offset by a holding penalty by perhaps one of the 2 players that are standing by the flag right now. Now they're walking away. So we might see offsetting penalties again.
I mean, that alone is crazy. But again, like the Frontier defense had so many touches, but none of them were able to take them down. Like that was just.
And
crazy.
They seem to be moving the ball back. Penalty against Green Wave and a face mask against the Red Hawks. Penalties will offset, and we will replay the first down. This time they won't let the play stand. And that is the correct call to make on a play as big as that, where there's so many penalties involved in the actual initiation of the play and the ending of the play. The play's not legitimate. It can't, there's no way that you can let that stand.
Yeah, this is giving me scary flashbacks of chemistry of like balancing equations. Just keep offsetting penalties here left and right. This is
well, we've had 2 back-to-backs. And the handoff to Politis. He is hit hard by the shoulder of Caden James. Man.
Stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Colin West had a grab of him for at least 4 seconds there. That was intense.
Yeah. I mean, he's just, the thing about Politis is he keeps his legs moving. They just keep pumping. And you deliver a hit to him, you need to play him. You can't play the ball because if you don't play him, he's gonna stiff arm you. He's gonna roll you off of him. He's gonna make a spin move and get around.
It's like
you.
if you're closer to him, he's even stronger. You can't even.
Yeah.
Any competition just feels him.
And he is in the backfield again. Receivers on either side. The pitch back to him. He will get a few blocks and not brought down yet. He's still going. Gets a hole. Oh, the step back, and Politis is gone. Takes it to the house. What a run by Angel Politis.
Politis has been running all over Frontier all night.
I mean, this has got to be game plan A for Green Wave coming into this game, Tyler. Politis all day and night, and it's very similar to what we saw with Franklin Tech. It seems to be the game breaker for a lot of these teams here in Western Mass. Do you have an elite running back? If the answer is no, it's tough luck, man.
Best of luck to you.
It's best of luck. And also,
40-yard touchdown run.
The only other way that you might be able to counter that is if you can have a great receiver quarterback duo.
Absolutely, miss.
And now setting up for the 2-point conversion, it is 22-6. Hope really fading here for the Red Hawks. They're going to have a set of spectacular plays and big gains. Politis spin move, and he stopped for a loss on the 2-point try. Looked like Colin West and Caden James were the guys who got there first.
22, Red Hawks 6.
Yeah, this is certainly not a situation you want to see here. A 16-point deficit. If I did my math correctly. Oh, my goodness. So that would be exactly what the Green Wave team had got earlier on. Get a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and another touchdown, 2-point conversion.
Well, now stopping that 2-point conversion is big for the Hawks because they were not able to convert on a 2-point conversion. Of course, now the pressure is really on them. And
any other
Politis,
point there could have.
Once again, having a rough time on the sideline. Pretty sure he just threw up. Anyway, we'll keep checking in on him as the game progresses. It's
fairly unstoppable. It doesn't matter.
To be said quite literally, he's playing his guts out today. And now setting up for the kickoff after that long touchdown run by Politis is Green Wave. And it looks like it will be Caleb Murray, who sat out that last drive, likely due to some cramps per the banana peels on the ground.
Now that he's stocked up on the potassium, maybe he can get some play.
And a couple Frontier fans got a little loud after that 2-point try was stopped. They've got 10.5 minutes to get 2 scores to tie this game up. That is the best they can do with 2 drives, which seems to be relatively feasible with 10 minutes left if they can get a quick defensive stop.
Exactly. You need about 3.5 minutes per drive and then stop them in less than 2. It's tough, but it's possible.
And that kick will be bobbled by Garrett Dredge and picked up. He takes it through the hole on the sideline, tries to cut back in, and gets a decent enough run back.
Yeah, there you go. That's nice solid. I mean, nothing extraordinary, but that was what you like to see. Just some nice yardage, dodged some tackles. There you go.
Around 10 to 12 yards on the run back there, and he was looking for a late hit call as he was being dragged out of bounds. He'll get nothing on that. Seems like the refs are their arms are getting a little tired from throwing all of those flags.
Oh, yeah. Well, they need a team effort to move up there.
They're going to have to go back home and really they're going to make sure that all of their flags are clean after this. They're getting dirty on the field.
Yeah, they're going to go to the laundromat together and clean up.
Group trip to the local laundromat. I
Zebra
like it.
migration.
Yeah.
All righty.
Now 10:15 is on the clock.
Redhawks on their own 34-yard line.
Yeah, they want to get this done, get a touchdown here, score after point less than 4.
And
it's possible.
The ball will be spotted at the 35-yard line
on the hash
for the Redhawks. Left hash is where John Rouleau will be snapping the ball. Receivers out to Garrett Dredge's right. And he'll be looking for the pitch over. Won't take it. He takes it himself. Garrett Dredge working on the sideline. Stiff arm.
Nice.
And he picks up 5.
Dredge on the carry.
Leans right into him. Just gives a little more answer. That's what you like to see.
Just give him a little shove. Yeah, you love to see it, man. And you get nice little helmet tap. Afterwards, give the guy a little love. It's some good sportsmanship, appreciating. Game respects game.
Yeah, for real.
And now Politis back on the field after what appears to be an upset stomach. Hopefully he's feeling all right. Last thing we want is another player getting puked on the field.
Exactly.
Similar formation for the Hawks, except James is not in the shotgun position next to Dredge. Dredge takes the snap. Handoff is faked, pitched over to Brady Pareda, who will come up about a yard short of the first down by the looks of it. But he gets out of bounds, which should stop the clock.
Correct, it should, but the clock appears to be still running. That's all right. It happens. Certainly not what you want to see on the Frontier fan side.
Time is not on their side right now.
I'm seeing some shrugs from the Frontier section. Stop that.
No
3rd and 2 for the Redhawks.
No conversation among the refs for that. They must have ruled him inbounds, and we just didn't catch it.
Yep.
Similar formation on the Hawks. They're spreading out the receivers to equal sides this time. Same formation in the backfield. Handoff will go to Pareda, and he's wrapped up fast and brought down for a loss.
No gain on the play.
It will be 4th and short. Maybe a little bit longer than short. It'll be 4th and 5. And the Hawks will be going for it. That's just about all they can do here.
On their own 40-yard line.
There's no point of punting, and if you punt it here, you're giving up.
Absolutely, Mason. Yeah, they need something here. Yeah, it's just too little time to account for. They need to get some magic on the field. They're going to run their formation that worked really well on their last drive.
And this is a formation that has a lot of options in it for Dredge. Movement by Ben Karen. And a quick pass is dropped by Colin West. Would have been a first down and then some.
Wow.
West is incomplete.
Right through the hands of Colin West. And that just might seal the deal for the Redhawks if we don't get a quick stop here from them on this upcoming drive.
Absolutely. I mean, this needs to be a very explosive play on defense. I don't even know if a stop will suffice. They need to get
a stop isn't going to. We're going to have to see the ball punched out and recovered by the Redhawks, which they've been able to do in both of their games so far, only once each. And if we're going to get another one in this game, this is the time when we need to see it. Exactly. If the Hawks want to stay in this game. They have under 8 minutes to go, and if you can get a fumble recovery, maybe add a few yards in the right direction off of a recovery, or even an interception, though I doubt that they will put it in the air. They're probably going to play it safe. They've got Politis relatively healthy in the backfield. They're probably going to hand it off to him, and they will. He gets a hole and is brought down fast.
Politis with the carry.
For a gain of about 3. Clock will continue to run. 2nd and 7, or no, 2nd and 6 is where they will spot it. They'll give him 4 on that run. West was on the tackle, and it is still Mason Cummings that is out on the field.
Yeah, Mace. This is a very interesting time of the game because this is essentially a solved part for the Green Wave here. All they have to do is not turn over the ball, just keep running it, keep pounding, and then hopefully use as much of the clock as they can without letting up any major yards.
And the handoff, not to Politis this time, is stopped quickly by Caden James, who delivers a big hit. Down on his knees and slow to get up is Politis, looking more and more shaken up by the minute. Keeps shaking his head, trying to clear it, it looks like. Now we're down to 6.5 minutes, 3rd and 5 for the Green Wave. I mean, like you said, essentially, if things go the way that they've been going for the Green Wave in the rest of this game, it should be more or less a walk in the park.
If they get this first down, then there's another 2 minutes, and that's 4, and then it's game over. They need to get a stop here.
Handoff, Politis is escaped from the tackle of Jack Phillips and finally stopped by 2 Redhawks. Ball comes out, but he was down.
Not quite far enough.
And he'll be short. This will likely be a 4th down try. And timeout will be called by the Redhawks to stop the clock with 5:58 on it. And now, where do you think the Green Wave are going to go from here, Tyler? Are we going to see a punt, which could end up, you could really pin them down inside their own territory, which is ideal, but realistically, it's probably going to end up being a touchback. Or do you go for it on 4th and 4?
I think, Mason, they're definitely going to go for it here.
Yeah.
I think that if they punt it, yes, that might give them some advantage, but they really got to try. I think that they might even be in a strong enough position to even try to go for a pass. I say that they might be trying to use their own trickery. Maybe just do a quick little pass, just get that 4 yards, have everyone lined up in the middle, get one wide receiver out, just get a nice, easy first down, and then it's game over.
Now, you know what I'd love to see? And we haven't seen it yet this season in the games we've covered for Frontier. I'd love to see a fake punt.
Yeah,
I would love that so much. That's one of my favorite things when it works, because when it doesn't work badly, and something really wrong happens typically.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see them line up for a punt here and then just have a pass from the kicker, who likely would be a quarterback down the field. But they will not do that. It looks like it might end up being a passing play. But also we could be looking for a distraction to move people away from the line. It will be a passing play to the far side of the field, and it's enough for a first down.
Excellent play call there. See, it's like, yes, their run game is very good, very consistent. But in that one drive, they really weren't getting anything. So they just spread out and stood to their weapons and were able to spread them out and get a nice open pass. Nothing you can do. There we go. The clock starts again.
And now, I mean, every second that goes by is another nail in the coffin for the Redhawks. This was a big game for them. They've had a rough start to the season, and this was a team they felt that they had a pretty solid chance of beating, and they stuck with them. The score doesn't reflect it, I will say. The game against Franklin Tech, a bit of a bigger margin, but also I feel like it was not as close of a game. It was certainly in favor of Franklin Tech, and a timeout will be taken to avert a delay of game penalty. That would be the third, I believe, on Greenfield. But that will also stop the clock. A little bit of good news there for the Redhawks. But as I was saying, Franklin Tech game very much in favor of Franklin Tech for pretty much the whole way through. A couple highlights for the Hawks, but this has been more evenly matched despite the score that is more in favor of Green Wave right now. And they felt as though we might be able to pull off something pretty impressive here and get our first win. And now it just seems like they might have to wait until their next game against Commerce, which currently is the lowest ranked team in the state of Massachusetts. So that will be hopefully a good chance for them to pull off a win next week. And that will be a home game.
Right.
I believe their second to last home game. I think they have a home game against Hoosick if I remember right. Yes, their last game is against Huzik on October 11th, and now a handoff to Politis. He stays inside. Jersey is grabbed, and he's brought down. Might be short of the first down, but they might give it to him. It'll be a call made by the refs, and ref on the near side signaling first. Ref on the other side is signaling nothing. It will be a first down.
There's enough for the Green Wave first down.
Yeah, just keep marching, keep it going. 5 minutes left and the clock begins. Now, this is not what you like to see. I mean, yeah, you would have to be able to get a drive done less than 2, stop them immediately, and then drive again. It's not looking up.
There really is. It's starting to end up being not enough time for them to come back into this. And a great cut from Politis, almost tripped up, and he's brought down for no gain. Escaping from a swarm of Red Hawks and is upset by all the contact he was receiving.
And it's absolutely fair. Sometimes when there is this star running or wide receiver, it's like it always happens that the defense is going to put more people on you.
Yep.
And every time that you're going to get a good gain or a short gain or whatever, you're going to have more people on top of you because everyone wants to see you get down.
Yeah, and they got to make sure you get down because we know Politis is not going to go down from 1 tackle or even 2 tacklers. You need a lot of guys to bring him down. And, I mean, I think that makes him a very different kind of running back from Josiah Little. Little, I mean, he was small. He was tiny. He could slip through some tackles, but he couldn't take those big hits because Frontier is delivering those big hits because they've tried to learn from Little a little bit. And it would work against most running backs, but Politis, he just takes the hits like it's nothing. Maybe that's why he was throwing up on the sideline. Right, he was taking a beating, but this is
just none of the hits are landing. They can't quite stick their defense here.
Because the hits land, but their arms don't go around. That's the difference. They're lowering the shoulder, but it's just the shoulder, and he's slipping through their arms, and that's why they try and go for the feet. But he started escaping from that too, and that's why you need all of these guys to help tackle him.
Absolutely. And so far in this game, they have not been able to control him, and that's really just a detrimental factor to this result.
4:30 to go for the Red Hawks and Green Wave. Shotgun position for Politis. Taking the snap is Cummings. The handoff, Politis up the middle, gets some blocks, and is stopped cold by a big hit from Caden James. He'll get maybe 3 yards on that play.
There you go. They like to change it up. I mean, even in the shotgun, they're still going to give it to Politis. That's impressive. Yeah.
At this point, the receivers are just acting as distractions.
Yeah.
And if the Hawks know that it's going to be a handoff, more likely than not, but they can't just pull guys off of the receivers.
It's always the great conundrum of the end here.
Yeah, you leave the receivers open, it's going to be a passing play to them because they're wide open, and it's going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, you can't cover it all.
Yeah, especially in this field range. 15 yards, 16-yard line. Coach yelling out directions and telling them to hurry up, and they will be called. And that is the 3rd or 4th delay of game we've seen against Greenfield. This has got to be, beyond the impressive things we've seen from Greenfield and also Frontier, the amount of penalties worrisome. You talk, Frontier is not a very high ranked school when it comes to football. Neither is Greenfield. They're relatively evenly matched. So this seems like, some teams that are playing well against each other. You put either of these teams against, we saw them against Lunenburg, against Franklin Tech, a team that has, a high caliber than them. If they can get themselves in a position where they're playing close to them and they can stick with them, this is what's going to cost them the game,
Absolutely.
Tyler. It's like they could have the same amount of talent, the same amount of strength, everything, and this is what's going to cost them the game.
Wide.
Cummings with a stiff arm and lowers the shoulder on Ben Karen. He will get around 5 yards by the looks of it. Or no, I misjudged the line. He'll get 2 or 3. And it will be 4th and timeout taken by the Red Hawks. It says 4th and 6 on the scoreboard, but then looking at
Fourth and
the chains,
nine.
there's a lot of miscommunication going on. But
there does seem to be so they have corrected the scoreboard.
Right.
I mean, a 6 is just an upside down 9, so I can understand the mistake.
Understandable.
Yeah.
No. So, but that play a little bit ago with another delay of game, the coach was yelling at the quarterback to snap the ball. Go!
He's telling him,
go.
hurry up, and he's standing there just. I'm not even. I don't hear any audibles. To be fair, I do have headphones over my head, but I can hear the game fairly well.
Yep.
I didn't hear any audibles being called out. There was no motion. Everyone was looking and waiting for the snap, and Cummings was just standing there.
Yeah, it was kind of
stuck. There was no particular reason why, it seemed to me. And the coach, you're right, he was just yelling at them, and that will be the Hawks' final timeout. Running out of options fast.
Absolutely, Mason. This is a very tough position to be in.
And now similar formation with Politis in the backfield. He will not get the handoff. The fake. Cummings into the end zone and caught in the back of the end zone. Martineau, what a play.
Just inches away from the cornerback's hands. Wow.
A beautiful pass and an incredible catch over the head and hands of Ben Karen.
Cummings pass.
Wow.
Complete to Martineau.
And talk about a dagger.
The Green Wave touchdown.
Absolutely, Mason. There was very little anything one could do in there. The quarterback was scrambled out of there, and then there was a defender, but there was a short receiver again. Like, as always, they have a great plan A and a nice, solid plan B, so they have really so many options. Obviously, right there, they got the plan A.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great job from Mason Cummings. He did such a fantastic job getting out. He rolled out of the pocket, was under pressure, and threw a beautiful pass to the back corner.
Couldn't have been better.
Just perfectly placed. It's exactly where you want it. And now they'll go for 2 to make it 30-6. Handoff, Politis cuts to the outside and is in for the 2 points. Noah Pareda gave him plenty to complain about after that one, but it will be 30-6. Greenfield.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've been noticing is Politis. Like, if we were a more professional, like, media coverage, if we had a bigger budget, we could show, like, where Politis has been hit. He has been hit all over the body.
Yes.
And the thing is,
like some sensors on his body. Exactly.
And every single time, no matter where he's hit, he just doesn't go down. So they don't know where to hit him. They don't know how to take him down.
It's not like he has a weak spot. It's just they
physically need to be all over him, and that's just impossible to do on defense here. Wow.
He's such a tough player, and he's so resilient. And not to mention Eric Martineau. I mean, incredible on offense throughout this whole game. He has been outstanding, and cherry on top is that incredible catch in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, I'm hearing the Greenfield's student section yelling, "We want Roland." I do believe that is one of their freshmen on the team here.
Ronan Smith. He doesn't even have a number listed on the roster.
Wow.
So we won't be able to tell you if he comes out onto the field. Maybe we will if we get a crowd reaction. But
yeah, it's intense. It's always a thing to see at the end of the game as some new players get some time.
Deep for the Red Hawks.
And Caleb Murray back on the field. A line drive straight to Brady Pareda. Stutter step, spin move, and he keeps pushing, gets all the way to the 35 of the Red Hawks. Under 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and it is a 24-point deficit for the Red Hawks.
Yeah, an absolutely massive and insurmountable amount, sadly.
Yeah.
However, it's been a really solid game, and like we said, some of these, exactly 8 points of these were due to an offensive error. And
yes, that is true.
Right,
that's worth noting.
Yep.
And this also, despite the situation not being a winnable one for the Red Hawks, it does not correlate to one where you give up and just take a knee until the clock runs out. They're going to keep trying.
Yeah, that's the mentality that this Frontier team has always held.
And that's the Greenfield coach yelling at his own student section. I don't know what they were saying. I wasn't paying much attention to them, but that's an interesting occurrence. Snap back to Dredge, back to throw, airs it out down the field. Ben Karen, and it's picked off. Caleb Murray, and he cuts back, just trying to stay up as much as he can, and he'll try and work forward now. Murray getting some blocks, spin move. Caleb Murray, he's got a lane on the near sideline. Caleb Murray wants to take it to the house, and he gets brought down
for the legs.
At the 25.
Murray with the interception.
Wow.
My, oh my.
What a play.
And that will be the dagger.
Absolutely.
We've got 2.5 minutes to go, and now it's a question of will Greenfield take a knee or will they keep pushing? 2.5 minutes is a decent amount of time. I will grant them that. And it seems
it's
as
likely
though
that they might do a couple plays and then take a knee for
they
the
might
rest.
look for the first down and then take the knee.
They need 30 more seconds off the clock, and then
they also.
can.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have Politis out on the field either. He has been beaten up a lot, and he's had a great game so far, and he has no reason to feel bad if he's not on the field right now. Just save your strength for the next game.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, if they go for the first down, I can understand it. If they also just, it looks like they will have a few plays still. It does seem as though the coach is trying to be a little bit remorseful to a certain degree, and they won't hand it off to Politis. Brought down for a loss.
Yeah.
Got by Colin West.
There's a rough tackle there in the backfield by Colin West.
Right, yeah, but that was, again, a little bit of the QB. He was slow to hand it off. Not quite the right coordination there.
Yeah, and that'll be a loss of 2 on the play.
Yep. Yeah, and now is the time where, okay, you don't want to get another delay of game call here, because that would be
I was
really
actually
bad.
just thinking that.
But regardless, they can take a knee, and then the game will be over very shortly here. They can turn over with 30 seconds.
A penalty would complicate things a little bit because it would stop the clock.
Mm-hmm.
But that isn't necessarily the biggest of concerns for them right now. So they will line up for another play. Closer, and it looks like it might end up being a snap.
Yeah.
Coach calls out the snap, and a late hit is delivered by Jack Phillips, apologizing, it seems, afterwards.
It's just sportsmanship there. They made up. They made up. They'd show.
That's right. It was a late hit. There was no flag on the play, and a little fist bump afterwards, and he will be subbed out.
Yeah.
Some respectability from both sides of the ball, and simple misunderstanding,
Absolutely.
it seems to be. And, you know, you can't fault him too much for that, trying to make a play in the last moments of the game, play until the end. And with the clock running down, that will do it for this game. They'll take one more snap, and that will be the end of the game. Greenfield will grab their first win of the year against the Red Hawks, who will go to 0-3. 30-6 is the final score. Green Wave will walk away with the win with that knee taken by Mason Cummings.
There it is.
And the celebration begins here at Greenfield High School. And we got to give credit where credit's due. There was a great performance by Pioneer quarterback Mason Cummings, who really, they shared the load very well. Caleb Murray got everything off to a great, solid, consistent start. And Mason Cummings just sealed the deal. Jonathan Brior with one reception, as he was the other captain. And Jared Goulston had a few great defensive plays, had a carry late in the game that we just saw. But really, MVPs of the game, besides those two quarterbacks, who really carried a lot of weight on their shoulders, especially early on in the game with a formidable and fresh Frontier defense, was you have Eric Martineau, that's number 14, and you have number 84, Angel Politis. Everyone knew we were going to talk about them, but man, oh man. did they have a game.
Really did. It was fantastic. You couldn't imagine any better play for them. It was really good to see. Yeah, I mean, it's always a tough loss for the Frontier team here, but that was just some good football playing.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, there's a lot of factors that made that closer than the score would reveal. But
yes. I mean, definitely at the end, it was a bit of a runaway game for Greenfield after, Frontier gets more desperate, and that's just the way that it goes sometimes.
The well's running dry.
Definitely the score doesn't exactly reflect how close of a game it was up until the last several drives or so. But, I mean, Martineau and Politis really carry this team to victory tonight. And also we'd like to mention out on the field as the teams go to their separate huddles, plenty of hugs shared from players from both teams. These guys know each other very well. Some of them are good friends, and that's why we love covering these games like against Franklin Tech and against Greenfield, because it's a rivalry, but at the end of the day, these are high school kids and they know each other well, and they play to win, but they also just play to have fun sometimes. And it's a rough game, that's for sure, for some of them, and a great game for some players on Greenfield. 30-6 is the final score. I've been Mason Smith, Tyler Wolkowitz, Kevin Murphy, Cole Melnick, and Connor Mabius. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. You've been watching Frontier Community Access Television. Good night.